What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, two-time welterweight world champion, former IBF welterweight world champion, former WBC welterweight world champion, Showtime Shawn Porter weighs in on the highly anticipated showdown between undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol Spence Jr., whom he fought in his last fight, and former two-division world champion, former junior welterweight unified world champion, and former welterweight WBC world champion, Danny Swift Garcia, in whom he fought two fights prior to facing Errol Spence in his last fight, in which he won the vacant WBC title from Danny Swift Garcia. So he weighs in on how he feels and breaks down how he feels the fight is going to play out. A couple of interesting points that jump right out at me is the fact that Shawn Porter feels like he says that Errol Spence definitely is a fighter that can make adjustments. He said if you look at his past fights, he made adjustments. He said, and he even made adjustments in the fight against me. It's just that you couldn't see it as clear because I made adjustments as he made adjustments. So I offset what he did, right? He says, but when I look at the fight, if you look at the fight between myself and Danny Garcia, I made adjustments in the fight, and Danny Garcia was who we thought he was going to be from round 1 to round 12. He made zero adjustments. He's not a guy that makes big adjustments. He says, and he wanted to elaborate on two things that he feels like is overrated when it comes to describing Danny Garcia as a boxer. He says, for one, he does not make adjustments. He says, for two, yes, he has power, but if you fight a certain distance, you take his power away, and if you smother him on the inside, you take his power away. So Shawn Porter says he feels like Danny Garcia's power is overrated, it's overstated. He says that because he don't make adjustments to get full extension on his power in any of his fights, he believes his power is overrated. His powers only comes into play if you at distance to let him capitalize on his power. So he says he does not make adjustments. He says he believes pretty much his skills are overrated, right? So he expects Errol Spence Jr. to make the necessary adjustments and be victorious in this fight. He says when you come forward against Danny Garcia and smother his work, there's not much he can do because he doesn't make adjustments. And if you fight at the correct distance, there's not much he could do because he doesn't make the correct adjustments. And he feels like Errol Spence has all the tools in the toolbox to make the adjustments to smother him or to fight him at a distance where Danny Garcia's power won't come into play and be a factor in the fight against Errol Spence. So in a nutshell, Shawn Porter is expecting Errol Spence to be victorious in this fight. This is what I stated. I think that Errol Spence is more versatile. He has more tools in the toolbox. Shawn Porter validated what I stated and how I feel like the fight is going to play out, because I feel like Errol Spence just has more tools in the toolbox to make the necessary adjustments to offset that of what Danny Garcia does great, and that's mainly his left hook. Yes, he's heavy-handed in both hands, but like I stated, he's very flat-footed. His feet seem to be caught in quicksand, and he doesn't make adjustments. And because of that, it's very difficult to deal with guys on this level at the welterweight division, especially the ones that can make adjustments. They're always going to be victorious when they can make the proper adjustments to offset what you do and adjust to what you're doing. And what you do great is that big left hook. So a lot of people feel like, Errol Spence coming off of that horrific car accident, October 10th, just 12 days after being in a slugfest and rough, rugged, tough fight with Shawn Porter, September 28th, may show kinks in his armor or may not be the same. Errol Spence took to social media and he stated, if you're betting against me and you think that I lost a step, you're going to be highly disappointed come November 21st. And Errol Spence is posting every day that he is working out. Even on vacation, he is training and getting his body in shape and prepared like never before. So Errol Spence, I believe, just has more tools in the toolbox to offset that of what Danny Garcia does. And Shawn Porter also stated that he is now the #1 ranked challenger in the WBC ranking system. So after his fight, August 22nd, he's expected to face the winner of Errol Spence, Danny Garcia fight. I'm sure at that point in time, with Danny Garcia being the #1 challenger for the WBC currently right now, thus the reason why Errol Spence is facing him, not to mention he was going to volunteer to fight him anyway, with his accomplishments and being one of the higher profile welterweights in the division. Then Errol Spence is going to have, I'm sure, a voluntary in between after Danny Garcia fight in which he's looking to face 8-division world champion, Filipino superstar, and currently the WBA welterweight world champion, Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is expected to announce that he will be facing 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia sometime in the near future. And after that fight, Errol Spence is looking to have that fight with Manny Pacquiao. And then he's looking to face Terrence Crawford. But interestingly enough, Shawn Porter is the mandatory for the WBC title. Are they going to step aside to allow these unification bouts and ultimately the mega welterweight showdown between Shawn Porter and between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford to take place? At that point in time, should Errol Spence be victorious against Manny Pacquiao, he will be undisputed welterweight world champion, right? So it's interesting to see how this all plays out. But Shawn Porter has put himself back in position to challenge for the WBC title once again. So we have to see how this all plays out. But like I stated in numerous videos prior to this video, I feel like Errol Spence is going to win this fight against Danny Garcia 8-4. Is it going to be a walk in the park? Absolutely not, due to the fact that Danny Garcia has been in mega fights. He has been in pay-per-view fights. He's been a world champion multiple times in 2 different weight classes. So he understands, and he's experienced. So he understands, in the beginning of the fight, what he needs to do to make it competitive. It's just the fact that Errol Spence just has another gear that Danny Garcia doesn't have, and I'm expecting him to pull away by from the middle 6th, 7th round to the rest of the fight. He's going to show the difference in the skill set and be victorious. I'm calling it 8-4 for Errol the True Spence Jr. I'm not expecting knockdowns in this fight. I'm not expecting either one of these guys to be seriously hurt and in trouble, but you can see one of them buzzed, and may have to hold on for a split second or so, but not seriously hurt where, you could say, oh, he was almost knocked out at that point. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting a masterclass performance from Errol Spence. Like I said, another big part of Danny Garcia's game is his body attack, and he is undefeated against southpaws. So with that said, he does go to the body great, and like I said, he has power in both hands. But at the end of the day, when you look at Errol Spence's body attack compared to Danny Garcia's, he's just more disciplined and more, closed up and shelved and protects himself from counterpunches more so than Danny Garcia does. Danny Garcia is going to take chances, right? Errol Spence is going to be more precise on the inside than Danny Garcia is. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I'm expecting Errol Spence's body attack to be more efficient than Danny Garcia's. So I just expect Errol Spence to win at every level in this fight. Now, like I said, there's going to be some rust since the last time Errol Spence had fought, September 28th, 2019 against Shawn Porter was a rough fight. Then, like I stated, October 10th, he suffered that horrific car accident. And now this fight won't take place until November 21st of 2020. So he would have been out the ring by the time he steps in the ring 14 months. So there's going to be some ring rust. There's going to be, some adjustment periods and, some time in the ring where, he's going to have to get his rhythm back and things of that nature. And I think at those points in time in the fight, due to the fact that his confidence, he's going to step to Danny Garcia, and I think that Danny Garcia will capitalize on those little moments, with Errol Spence, and he'll have subtle, success in the fight. That's why I'm giving him 4 rounds in the fight. but I'm highly expecting Errol Spence to win this fight and show his two-time welterweight world champion, Showtime Shawn Porter, who feels like Danny Garcia's power is overrated and he doesn't make any adjustments. So we got to see how this all plays out. I'm excited. The sport of boxing is booming. Can't wait. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.